welcome to the Elevated Limits podcast show. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Elevated Podcast. Today we have a special guest in the building. This is the first professional boxer we've had, so it's a special episode. She just had her fight September 28th that made her 9-0, and the WBA SuperFlight Weight title. The champ is in the building, if you didn't notice. Please welcome Leanna Cruz. Yo, what's up with you? How you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good. We were talking a little bit before we, kind of got into it that it's been probably like 4 years since we seen each other. And do you know where that was at or nah? I remember
I feel like it was at the bar.
It was at the bar? Nope. You're wrong.
Wasn't it at the bar? Was it at the gym?
It was at the gym. You remember that ice skating ring? The ice skating ring that we turned into a weight room?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was there?
Yeah, because you were looking to it was like you were trying to get trained by a mod or something like that. You were looking for a mod.
Oh,
and then you ended up working out with
I remember what you're talking about.
With the bull Bobby, and he started training you for the day. But I was like, that's the last time I seen her. I was like, damn, bro, I didn't realize how fast time goes, right? But it's not about that. Today's about getting to know you and just unpacking your story and your journey, right? Because we see Bumblebee on social media, flexing the confidence. We see all that. But I want to get to know who Leanna Cruz is too.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me about your upbringing and what led to you having this confidence and how did you become Leanna Cruz? What was their upbringing like?
I was an all year round athlete my entire life. I kind of always excelled in sports. And I was able to pick up things like really fast since I was a kid. So I played basketball, ran track, did soccer. I played handball. I swam. There wasn't like a sport I really didn't play. And I've always been athletic. And, in high school, I was a basketball player, went to college for ball for a little bit. And I always had that competitive edge, but I was always feisty and I was always physical. I even quit softball because I told my dad, I was like, this isn't physical enough. Like, I like that. Like, I'm rough. So, and I grew up with brothers. So.
I was going to say, so is that why I always see you with your little brother a lot? And
he's my strength and conditioning coach. I
was going to say, I saw you training with him at one point. How important is family to you?
Family's everything to me, honestly. I always believed in your purpose being bigger than just yourself, because there's going to come a point where, like, something's going to be bigger than you, and it has to be bigger than you to keep going. So my family is what keeps me going, because, boxing's very hard. Very, very hard. And, I commute an hour and 15 minutes every day just to train. So
because you're training in Philly right now and all that? Wow.
Yep. So, like, what drives me really is my family more than anything, and, like, showing the person that, my dad raised and what he built in me as far as my character. Wow.
That's special. If I'm not mistaken, you were a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
So you played ball. Did you go to college for ball?
Yeah.
Did you finish?
No.
Okay, so what led to you dropping out and then picking up boxing? Because basketball is a lot different from fighting. So those are drastically two different things. Like, the basketball players are like the guys who are just pretty boys, pretty girls. They don't, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's way different.
Well, I went to Penn State Lehigh Valley for a little bit, and then I wanted more, and I got picked up by Kutztown to play ball there, and then my house burned down.
Whoa.
And I actually ended up not even going to school after that happened because we lost everything. And I was trying to find myself, and, like, I was really young. I think I was, like, maybe when my house burned down, I might have been, like, 19 or 20.
Wow.
And I always had that competitive edge. I was thinking of powerlifting because I like to work out.
Right.
And I was actually pretty good at when I was trying to powerlift. I was pretty good at it. And then I was thinking about going into the Marines because they say that women can't be a Marine. And I'm like, I'm one of one. So I just live for challenges. So when I tried to be a Marine, they said no because I broke my back in 2017.
I have so many questions. First, let's start with this. Your house burns down. Yeah. Like, how are you feeling in that moment? And, like, how do you just get through that and keep pushing? Like, what's
your family? Your family is what, like I said, I've never realized how much that kept me together, because if it wasn't for my little brother, my dad, and my older brother, like, they're everything to me, and they are what get me going and keep me going more than anything.
Wow, support system is everything. And then how do you break your back? Like, where do you even start with that? Were you powerlifting?
No. So I was tubing with my best friend Natalie, and we hit a wave.
Hold on, before breaking your back, tubing is the craziest statement.
Yeah, you don't hear of anything like that.
Nah.
But like, I'm terrified to do it ever again now.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I did go tubing in Colorado, like, and I did a backflip on the tube, so I could see how you could like mess your back up.
Well, we hit a wave, I flipped, and I landed on her head, and I ended up fracturing like 4 vertebrae in my lumbar part of my spine. And I couldn't move like my whole right side, my right leg, my right arm when it first happened.
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
So I see why they make us sign waivers before we do all that stuff, because stuff.
It wasn't. It was with my friend. It was with.
Wait, y'all
my
didn't
2 friends.
Y'all just went randomly and.
My friend had a boat. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're fine now. Considering you're family oriented, right, and family means a lot to you. What was the conversation like with your parents when you were saying that you wanted to start boxing, right? Because I'm looking at it from, you speak really highly of your dad, but I'm thinking of myself in the future when I have a daughter one day and she comes up to me and she's like, Dad, I want to start fighting. And I'm just like, that's a tough pill to swallow, to see your daughter get hit by other people. Like, that's your baby girl. So it's like, what was that conversation like, and what led you to, like, you know, make the decision?
Well, I've always been a fighter. Like, I've fought in high school. I fought at the bars. Like, I just have always been violent.
Right.
So my dad, me fighting, to my dad, it wasn't like a shock. But when I told him, I was like, Dad, I wanna be a pro boxer, he laughed. Yeah, he laughed. I had no support right from the beginning from anybody.
Whoa. So, all right. So he's basically taking you as a joke.
Yeah.
And what does that do to you? Like, what are you saying? Like, what are the next steps after he laughs at you and you're just like, what do you start doing?
I'm still the same. I don't care about what anybody has to say, anybody else's opinion but my own. And, you know, that's what I value. And, like, you could laugh at me all you want, but now look at me.
Talk heavy.
Yeah.
I love that. Talk heavy. The first time I saw you fight, where everybody saw you fight, was the Barstool fight.
Yeah,
right?
when I did Rough N Rowdy.
Rough N Rowdy.
Yeah.
It got rowdy. You know that video has like 1.7 million views on YouTube?
Yeah, I made that fight, to be honest, because I was talking shit.
You were talking crazy. Yeah. The hype was through the roof. Like, mad people in the Valley were supporting you, tweeting about you. And even the announcers at the end of the fight said, yo, she definitely won that fight. Everybody knew you won that fight.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what's also crazy? Like, I watched that fight. Like, I just, like, looked at it recently because we were about to do this. And then I saw your most recent fight. And I'm like, yo, the progress is
crazy.
Wild. But what I want to ask is, how does someone end up on that? Like, how do you end up
on Rough N Rowdy?
On Rough N Rowdy, yeah.
I signed up. I was 3 months into boxing, and everyone in my gym was fighting. And I was telling my coach, I'm like, bro, I want to fight. Like, I'm not here to fucking play games. Like, I'm trying to rumble. And he was like, you're not ready. And you're really not. At 3 months of training, you're not ready. But me, I was such a go-getter, and I was like, I want to do it. I signed up for it. I called my coach. He was like, you're bugging. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, you're bugging. He was like, but I guess I'll get you ready. And I was like, all right. So I took it on 10 days notice.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then I did it. And that girl had been fighting for like 2 years.
Wow.
So 3 months, 2 years.
Now, what does that do for your career now? Like, does it change the trajectory of stuff? Do you get eyes on you, or is it kind of like, all right, back to normal, back to the lab?
That was more like, honestly, I didn't know, but that was more of like entertainment boxing, like the Misfits boxing now.
Right.
And that's not even the wave I was trying to ride. Like, I was trying to be real, like a real fighter, and not like, oh, I'm just doing this because I'm pretty. And you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, I was really doing it to show like I have skill. I'm an athlete. I work hard. This isn't a game to me. Like, this is gonna be my life.
And we could see that because you were talking like that too. Like, yo, I'm about to beat her. You know what I'm saying? You was talking crazy.
Yeah.
So you basically have no amateur experience, like, before you became a professional?
None at all.
So what made you so confident in turning pro? And did you have anybody trying to advise you, like, yo, chill, like how they said you're not ready yet? Did anybody come up to you like, yo, Leanna, chill out, you're wildin'? Or were they like, all right, let's turn pro, and you were like, all right, let's do it? Like, how was that dynamic? Like,
going from no amateur experience to pro right away?
Yeah.
Well, I got scouted by a promoter first because I was working really hard, and honestly, like, I was doing well against people that had experience, and I was learning, getting better every day, and I had a lot of qualities that had already set me apart from other people. so when I got scouted, I was supposed to turn pro, I think, November of 2020. Got pushed back because of COVID. I ended up turning pro September 2021, but I just got better. I got scouted, like I said, by a promoter. He signed me. And yeah, it was just like the end of it. Like they said like I was good to go, and I just turned pro.
So you turned pro, and now were you always currently training in Philly? Did you start out here, training out here?
No, I started here. I've been training in Philly now for about a year.
So what made you switch? So how was training out here, and then what kind of did you feel like you had to get better coaching and stuff, more resources? Like why did that all happen?
So I really loved my gym out here, and I still do. I have so much love. They created and molded a monster. I'll be honest. I give them so much credit. And I still have so much love for those coaches, but I wasn't in a good relationship, and I was training with him at the same time.
Got it.
And after one of my camps, I was like, well, it was for my first title. I had asked my coach to like not have him come to the gym just because it was like still cared about him, and I didn't want to see him be distraught over the breakup or anything.
Got it.
And he couldn't do it, so I just finished my camp out there, and I realized like if my ex-boyfriend was going to be in this town, like I just don't want to do it around here. Like I just want to be away from him because this is my life, and I can't get my emotions caught up in this.
I get it. That makes sense. You wanted to keep it strictly business and not let that kind of ruin your progress. How has it been training in Philly, though? Like, how have you been enjoying
I love Philly. I think, honestly, making the move was the best decision I ever.
Wow.
Yeah, like, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned it a little bit. You said that, you had a scout, like, kind of watching you and everything, and he said that you had different attributes than other female boxers. So what...
Like, I could be good.
Okay, so he was seeing the potential of what you could be, but what is it that separates you from every other female boxer?
Right now or in the beginning of, like, coming up?
You know what? Tell me right now, like, what makes you better and what makes you different? Like, what makes you undefeated, basically? Like, why do you keep beating people? Not only because you're better, but what are the specific attributes that you have that you feel like
smart. I'm really smart.
Advantages?
I know how to break girls down where it's like, I'm going to let you be comfortable with what you're good at and then try to resort to a plan B, which you're not good at, and take your best weapon away, and you're not going to know what to do.
Wait, so you're basically like, because I don't think people realize boxing is like a mind game.
They don't realize that.
So it's like you guys are in there figuring each other out, and then out of nowhere, they're just like confused because you're just kind of getting them off their game plan, basically.
Sort of. Like my last opponent, she was good at coming forward, right? And I don't know for who saw my fight. I don't know if you watched it all 8 rounds, but like the first 3-4 rounds, I let her get comfortable coming forward. So then when she's tired and she's tired from chasing me around and me boxing her for the first 4 rounds, I could walk her down, and that's exactly what I did. And then
it's chess.
I just kind of beat her up.
It's literally chess.
Yeah.
So has there ever been a girl, I want to know this, like that hit you so hard you're like, oh chill, I gotta move tack now because she got power behind her, or no?
Yeah, I've been cracked for sure. But I've always reacted well. I think there's girls, like I spar with bigger girls sometimes. And when I spar with bigger girls, I'm like, I'm not letting you hit me. Because I look at the game of like swim without getting wet. So like I want to punch you and you're not going to touch me at all. Like I think being defensively sound is so cool. Like, and you think about it, what's more frustrating than getting hit by somebody and you can't even touch them?
Ooh, now you're getting in their head. You're getting in their head. I love that. So I was watching this podcast you did like a year ago. I forgot what it's called, but it's you were in a boxing ring.
TTT.
Like, TTT.
Yeah.
So I was watching that a little bit, just trying to get like a backstory on you and all that. And they asked you a question. They said, a year from now, where do you want to be? And you were 3-0 at the time. And you said, I want to be 8-0 and fighting for a title. Just recently, again, September 28th.
Yeah.
You had your title fight. You won that, and now you're 9-0. Kind of talk about what that moment was like and having it come full circle now. Like, you literally said it, and then you did it.
Yeah.
That's wild. But and so how do you feel about that whole experience?
It's really cool. I've always been real big on, like, being a person of your word. And, like, same thing how I started, how I said I was going to go pro, and everybody laughed at me, and it didn't matter. But, like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And even with, like, commuting, like, it's not that I wanted to get a new coach, but I needed a new coach, and I was like, it's just what has to be done. So coming back and like realizing I do everything I say I'm going to do, it's just like when I say something, I'm not talking out of my ass.
I love that.
I feel like that's very important in the type of sport I'm in, especially.
Absolutely. And I feel like confidence is really important in your sport because if you don't believe in yourself and you get in that ring, it's over for you.
You can feel when somebody is like hesitant and like.
I was gonna ask you. So have you gotten into a ring with a girl and within the first 30 seconds or a minute, you're like, it's over for you because you already could kind of feel their energy, or do you kind of feel like, okay, I got to work a little bit because she's about it. Like she feels like she could take me. Like what's going through your mind actually when you're fighting these girls? Right?
So it depends on where I'm at in the ring, what's going on, and like if it's a fight or if I'm sparring, because everything's really different. But like when I'm on the ropes, I do it to bait them and to counter them and honestly talk shit. Like I do like to talk a lot when I'm in the ring, especially.
Is that just you, or is there like?
No, that's me. That's me. I don't try.
You don't model after any other boxers. Like, yo, I feel like I have to be like this to get more eyes.
No, that's literally just my personality. Yeah. Like even if I'm sparring, sometimes like I'll shake my head at them. I'll do my little, what do they call it, emotes? Like I do stuff like that even when I'm sparring.
I see that.
Yeah. So
I see it in the fights when you're like clowning and trolling basically.
It's worse than sparring.
Yo.
Yeah.
Does that like do girls do it back or is it like more so?
Nah, but the thing is with me, like I'm really like a jokester. Like I just like to have fun, and I'm like, yes, this is serious, but like, why not have like a little razzle dazzle?
Have fun with it and create the personality along with your.
Yeah.
Well,
and it matches my personality because I do talk a lot of shit, but like. Even if I like you, like I'll talk a lot of shit, but like it's like friendly. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, it's just your dynamic, how you are, right?
Yeah.
It's how you're wired. So like, that actually plays a big role into like you growing your platform though and growing your brand as a whole, because people are gonna like, it's gonna be entertaining to watch you fight.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
And that's important in boxing.
I was talking to the crowd my last fight like 3 times. I said something.
Wait, what were you saying?
I mean, I blew a kiss to my boyfriend in the crowd. I looked at the one photographer when I was on the ropes and I was like,
Yeah.
And then I grabbed her and I started smiling like to the crowd.
Just taunting.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But there's been people like, you know, Floyd Mayweather, obviously. Gervonta Davis be clowning a lot too. He's a good fight. Is there any other fighters that you kind of, or any female fighters you look up to that, you know, I kind of emulate my fighting after her or my?
I think it's important to take something from everyone. I don't think it's important to I don't find it what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not useful to just look up to one style in fighting. You got to take a little bit from everybody. It's like when they say build your perfect boxer. Right. Like who would you have defensively? Who would you have footwork wise? Like you got to take something from everybody. So like I admire every boxer. I'm just a student of the game.
Wow.
I don't look at just one and I'm like, oh, I want to be just like them, because I want to be versatile. I want to be able to have everything in my pocket, and then there's nothing they could do. Just like I said with me, my game plan, you take their strength and you take it away from them. And what do they have after? Is there a plan B? With me, I have strengths in everything. So there's nothing you could take away from me that I'm not going to be prepared for.
Wow. So I wanted to address this. You win the fight. Yeah. WBA champion. Yeah. Fire. Second title. I've seen pictures of you with 2 belts. Fire. Early in your career, a lot of success. At the end of the fight, I forget Shorty's name, but you throw a middle finger up to her corner. She gets dumb tight. She's hot. You know what I mean? Because everybody's expecting, okay, it's the end of the fight, respectful. What's the beef? Like, were you trolling? Is it beef? Like,
no, I don't like her. And like, here's the thing: like, a lot of people have comments to say about me doing that, classless, whatever. But I have 10 fights, and I never did that after a fight. Right. And people who know me will know that I was provoked. That I'm not like that. Like I'm a very sweet girl at the end of the day, and I always have respect for my opponents. But she was taunting me before the fight, her and her team. No one also knows this. I had to cut like 6.5, 7 inches of my hair to make weight, and I'm crying while doing it. And she's at the weigh-in, like going like this. Her and her team. When I'm drinking water, she's coming over to me like, "Oh, does that taste good?" Like talking to me. She was outside of my hotel room sometimes, like. There were things that she was doing, her and her team, that no one knows. But like, I was thinking about saying it like on a live, but I'm also like, I don't have anything to explain to anybody. Like I have my reasons, and if you know me, I'm reasonable.
Right.
But she was provoking me, and it was like even during the fight, like that was the most taunting I ever did in a fight.
Right.
And it's because I had no respect for her and I didn't like her. the fight before that, when I was taunting because she wasn't throwing, she wasn't fighting back, and I was bored. So, like, but this girl, like, I genuinely did not like her. I wanted to make her look stupid, and I wanted to make her feel my pain.
I hear you. So her team was involved in taunting you too. That's why you
her
did
little
it at
Poindexter girl that was in the corner. Oh my God, I wanted to throw my little young bull at her, so bad.
So were they talking to you during the fight too? Like, were they taunting you during the fight and saying wild stuff?
If they were, I didn't hear it. Because, like, when I'm fighting, the only, like, voices I hear are my coaches.
So this fight was personal, basically. Like, more than any other fight, it was like, nah, you know what? Y'all want to go there? Let me take it to the next level then. Let me show you what it really looks like to be taunted. Is that the approach?
Sort of, but it was also personal because my last fight before this got turned to a no contest. So I was like, I owe an apology to myself. I owe an apology to my fans, to my whole team. So I knew I had a statement to make. But then when she was taunting me and, like, you know, as a woman cutting your hair and, like, cutting that much for 0.4 pounds, like, not even a full pound, not even a half pound.
That's
you know
wild.
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So, like, that was a lot for me, and I still have the hair, and I still look at it, and I'm like, wow, like, I really did that for a belt.
Yeah. And it just goes to show your dedication, though. Like, you're willing to do
whatever it takes.
And I love that, you know, because it's admirable to watch.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because you post your videos. The one videographer you have around, he's fired.
Thank you.
He be
Reef,
snapping.
yeah,
he be snapping.
Yeah,
so
he's
I'll be
the
watching
best.
that. What keeps you motivated though? Like, what keeps you going and waking up every morning? And how important is it to have the right team around you? Because you talk about family, you talk about, you know, how good of a support system that is. But again, how important is it having the right just people around you in general? So
what keeps me motivated is definitely my word on what I say I'm gonna do. My father's last name being Cruz, and, you know, repaying everybody who invested and saw something in me when I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. So that's what keeps me going, because, like I said, it's bigger than just me. It's always been bigger than just me. And, you know, I feel like I owe a lot of people something, whether it's my work ethic, a belt. I want to retire my dad so he'll never have to worry about money ever again. That's what really keeps me going. And I think having a support system, this is a very lonely sport. So, like, there are times I don't want to do what I got to do. There's always those days, but guess what? I go and do it because that's discipline.
Facts.
And that's being part of, you know, and that builds character. And I think who you become is more important than what you require. So. You snapping now. They say that loneliness is the cost of ambition, right? So because you're so ambitious, because you go so hard, you're really on this journey by yourself. Yeah. You know, you don't have anybody alongside of you. You know what I think is really cool as you're kind of talking and talking about your story and really talking about why you do it. What I'm realizing is, like, you are so selfless. Like, you haven't mentioned yet that I'm doing this for me. Every time you've spoken, it's like, I'm doing this for the last name I have, for my family, to retire my dad. And it's easy to look at you from the outside and say, she's real cocky. All she thinks about is herself. But as I'm hearing you speak, it's really, everything you do isn't even about you. No, it's not. It's never been about me. And I feel like when people watch this, they're going to be able to see, like, okay, that's Leanna Cruz. Yeah. And she's going to put on a show because it's entertainment at the end of the day, but she's not actually that type of person you think. What people would see me as, like, what you would get off, like, a first impression or anything, that's not who I really am. And that's the thing, like, I think first impressions are definitely important. For sure. But I also know that I'm not, like, an acquired taste, but I am very bold, and a lot of people can't handle me right away. They kind of, and the thing is, I don't shrink myself for anything or anyone. So, like, if you can't handle me, it sounds more of like a you problem. Like, I respect that though, because you know what? We live in a time where everyone is trying to shapeshift to make other people feel comfortable instead of, like you said, like, just be yourself. Yeah. And whatever is for you, and whatever is not is not. And I've had to come to the realization too of that. You know what I mean? Like, why am I, like, changing myself to make you feel comfortable? Let me just be me. If we're not cool, we're not cool. But if we're cool, all right, let's rock all the way. So it seems like you've learned that really early on. But I'm trying to figure out, like, I was always like that, though. How, though? Because, like, I've always been myself. I've never shrunk myself. Like, since I was a kid, I've never, just because, like, I can't be fake. Like, I struggle to be, like, not authentically me. And, like,
That's fire.
I used to get in trouble sometimes because my mouth would get me in trouble. But, like, I was always just like, it has to be respected because it's real and it's from the heart. Like, if you can't handle it, again, that's your problem. And granted, I had to learn to not be as, like, harsh with things.
I get it. I was going to ask you.
Like, get my message across, like, a little different. But, like, for the most part, like, I've just always not gave a shit about what anybody else has to say.
And I think that's important, not caring about what other people think, because I feel like if you let too many people in your mind, you have too many opinions, now you're almost paralyzed by that. So I think that's a good approach to have.
Well, it's even the same thing, like, if someone says something negative, I look at it like, would I value your opinion if it was positive?
Talk.
Probably not. So, like, why am I going to care if it's negative?
What is it that you've learned these last couple of years about yourself and being in this field?
I learned that I have the power to do anything. Like, I didn't even realize how powerful it is to, like, speak things into existence. And consistency is key with everything. Like, consistency is what got me here, not talent, not skill. It was my consistency and my dedication to my craft and, like, not letting anything come in between it. Like, my fight in May, no one knows I had cellulitis 3 weeks before.
Whoa.
Yeah, like, there's a lot that goes on behind closed doors that, like, if I say I'm going to do something and I want something to happen, I'm going to do it by any means and make it happen.
It's people undervalue how important consistency is.
Yep.
And it just compounds over time.
Yeah.
Like, I want to ask you this. Like, where do you feel like you're going to be a year from now? Like you said, you said it last time, 2023, literally a year later, you actually superseded your expectations of what it was. So, like, what's that, like, next pedestal for you?
So right now I'm actually ranked number 8 in the world, but in the
Talk heavy. Go ahead,
in the organization,
Talk heavy.
I'm ranked number 4, number 5, and number 4 in 3 different organizations. So, like, I'm looking to fight for a title eliminator next, between the number 2, 3, or 4 seed, and then after that go for a world title. That's the goal for the next 2 fights. But by next year, I'll definitely be world champion without a doubt.
I love that.
Like, I don't have any doubt in my mind.
How does one get to that level as far as, like, getting on these bigger fights? Like that girl, what's her name? Amanda.
Serrano.
Right? Serrano.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you get, like, 'cause I feel like there's like categories you keep going into, right? Like, you're up and coming. How do you keep, like, elevating in this field? Like, is it strategic, like picking the right fights, or
100%? All my opponents were picked for specific reasons. Like, my first girl I made my debut on, she was 0-3 in boxing, but she was coming off a bare knuckle knockout win, like 4 months before.
Got it.
So it's like I'm still fighting somebody that kind of still knows what they're doing. They're coming off a big win. My second fight, she had never fought at 115. She only fought at 125. So it's to show I could fight bigger girls. My third fight, she had like 60 amateur fights, so that shows if I could beat someone that's experienced.
Got it.
Same thing with my fourth fight. So, like, every opponent is just to like a test almost to see on where your weaknesses are and, like, if you're gonna pass the test fully, and, you know, it's kind of to move you a type of way. However, you can go to, like, Mexico and just fight a taxi cab driver and get knockouts on your record. You know what I mean?
I be hearing about that though.
Yeah.
Like, meaning, like, okay, this person just packed their stats up. Like, they're not really like that. So that's a real thing. People be fighting bums basically and adding it to their record.
Yeah, and, like, let's say you fight one and you lose, you can get it overturned.
Whoa,
yeah.
Hold on.
There's
overturned?
a lot of yeah, I've seen it happen.
So
I've seen it happen.
All right, all right. So is that
happened actually? I think to Devin Haney. He's a big name that I think everyone would know that happened to in Mexico. He lost in Mexico.
How do you feel about the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia thing? Like, Ryan Garcia wilding out on him, but supposedly
he made me eat my words.
Who?
Ryan Garcia. Oh my God.
Supposedly he was taking drugs or something like that. Is that true?
I don't know if I believe that.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe that. Boxing's very political.
So
very, very political.
Break it down to me. What were you originally thinking going into that fight?
Oh my God, I thought Ryan was gonna get dog walked. I was like, Haney is just gonna outbox him, and he's not gonna be able to touch him. You know, but I underestimated Ryan. I was wrong, and I was like, damn.
How? Yeah. But you know what it was, though? Like, Gervonta Davis made him look so bad. So that's, like, the last impression we had of him. But then he came past.
Yeah, but even regardless of that, like, I look at boxing stylistically, because I think styles, you can't say, like, if like let's say Tank and Ryan fought, right?
Right.
And then Devin Haney and Ryan fought.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's say Haney beat Ryan.
Right.
And just like Tank beat Ryan.
Right.
You can't say that Gervonta will beat Haney just because he beat
I
Ryan.
get what you're
Do you know
saying.
what I'm trying to
I
say?
get
Like that
exactly
kind of
what you're
that
saying.
fighting math, it's not real.
It's just because of the different type of styles that both boxers have. So it's like, it could be like, oh, for Gervonta, that could be a really easy fight because of the style, but for somebody else, it might be a lot challenging. But it doesn't say that if he fought the same guy, like he could still lose.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Who do you feel like is the best like male boxer, and who do you feel like is the best female boxer besides yourself?
Are you talking about like pound for pound?
Pound for pound.
I could give you 3 because there's too many, and like there's Gervonta Davis, Terrence Crawford.
Okay, that's a good one.
And I like Canelo a lot.
Canelo's like that. Respect. You got to give him that. You got to give him that.
And he, one thing I love about him, he's not afraid to fail.
He'll put himself at risk to lose. Like he fought
Like
the one guy just
Bivol
recently.
And lost.
How were you rocking with him because he's Puerto Rican? Like were you?
No,
on his
he's
side?
Mexican. But
No, not Canelo. The other boy he just
oh, you're
fought.
talking about when he fought Berlanga.
Berlanga.
Yeah.
He just fought him.
No, I knew Berlanga was gonna lose, and I said that. I was like, being Puerto Rican, like of course I want Berlanga to win, but like stylistically, and like we were talking about when you build up a resume.
Yeah.
Berlanga had a built up resume. He never fought no real comp. So it's like if you're not gonna fight somebody, or you're not gonna like get ready to have those big fights by fighting good people, you shouldn't be in those big fights. Like, because you're not prepared for that. Under the Lights is way different than...
For sure. And Canelo was saying that. He said, there's levels.
There are.
He said, in his accent and everything, there's levels.
Yep.
There's levels. He don't know. He don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true, though. It's so true.
What's a message, kind of straight off that, what's a message you would tell someone who is trying to pursue their dreams? Someone up and coming, someone young, honestly, anyone who wants to, like, achieve something big, what would you say to them?
Double down on yourself and like believe in yourself, and consistency is key. That's all I could say. Like what got me here is self-belief and consistency. That's
and then
it.
I want to ask you this because I feel like you're a really good person to answer this question. What would you say to someone that struggles with the opinions of other people and being scared to do things because they feel like they're gonna get judged? Like, what is the Leanna Cruz advice to someone who's struggling with that?
I would say align your values with the right people. Like you have to value someone's opinion that you look up to. You can't value everyone's opinion because then you're not living for yourself. So you got to live for you. You can't live for anyone else. And I think that you can't put a value on everybody's voice.
Wow. Leanna Cruz, everybody. The wisdom, the confidence, she got it all. When do you know? So this time period now, you kind of take time to chill before you guys start to be strategic again about your next fight or what's next.
No, right now I'm taking a break.
Do you guys have your eyes on anybody potentially?
So I wanted to fight this girl Jasmine Artiga, but she's now ranked number 8 or number 7, and I feel like that's too low for me to go down and fight someone. Wanted her, and she used to be ranked above me, but now I'm over her, so I'm looking past her. I'm looking at what's her name? Irma Garcia.
Call them out.
Irma Garcia, Ashley Gonzalez, Natalie Delgado, something Chavez too. I got a couple girls in mind.
Okay.
They're all above me though. I don't want anyone that's ranked under me. I'm ready for the big dogs.
I love that. Yo, I actually really I didn't know how this conversation was gonna go.
Oh,
I didn't know
really?
who was gonna show up. It was gonna be like, but it was interesting. Like
Thank
getting
you.
to know who you are behind Bumblebee, behind all that. It was really dope. So guys, continue to show love. Subscribe. Make sure you guys go support Leanna Cruz. Hopefully she'll be fighting for another title fight really soon. And now she's holding up 3 belts and she can barely pick them up. So stay tuned for our next episode next week, and we'll be back with more fire. Stay blessed, everyone.